Hey everybody, welcome back. I am back today talking about another topic that I love to share more about, which is about our symptoms and our physical pain in our body. All of the noises and the aches and the struggles and the challenges that we feel living in human bodies. And this message really applies to anybody. It doesn't apply just to those who are living with chronic illness. It actually applies to any of us who have human bodies. So if you have a body, this message is actually for you. I'm going to gear it a little bit more towards the chronic illness, but I'm going to talk about symptoms just in general. So as you are hopping on, say hi, let me know who's here. I would love to know who's watching. And I'm going to start diving in. Hey, Condi, good morning. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch. So a lot of times, and tell me if you can relate to this with a yes or an emoji or something in the comments, when you have a physical symptom, you wake up and you have a headache or your back aches or you have stomach upset, what is the first thing that you feel? Do you feel irritated? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel inconvenienced? Do you feel like my body is just so gosh darn noisy? Like if you have a thought that you'd like to share, what's the first thing that pops in your head? Feel free to put that in the comments. Hey Jody, good morning. Thanks for hopping on. So what is your first reaction? And just be honest, like there's no judgment. It's kind of the first thing that pops into your head. A lot of times I'm like, really? This? Like, even though this is what I teach people, to be completely honest and transparent with you, I sometimes get irritated. It's like, oh, I have a headache. Dang it. Condi says sad. Okay, cool. It's good awareness to just kind of know what you feel. You feel sad that a symptom comes up. Sad that something's going on in your body is what I'm imagining that means, but it might mean a little something different to you. So if you have those feelings of kind of frustration, irritation, whatever, first of all, you're probably not alone. Probably most people, their initial reaction is something that's not like, oh, great, I have pain, or I have discomfort, or I have whatever it is. You're probably a little annoyed. And it's easy to feel that way too, because I think we become so conditioned in our society and our culture to kind of view symptoms in a certain way. So how many commercials do we get on TV where we see things that are like, oh, here's what you take for your headache. Take some Tylenol, you have a headache or you have back pain. You have an upset stomach, oh, here's some Pepto-Bismol or some Imodium or whatever it is. We are conditioned to kind of think of symptoms that way, as something that's like an inconvenience, and that we just need to kind of make it be quiet, like take a pill and get it to go be quiet and move on. And I know some of you are already kind of past that place of like, that's not your go-to of reaching for something, but I'm just kind of shedding light on this paradigm that I think we really live in, where it's like you have a symptom and that's kind of what we're conditioned to do. So Condi, you said sometimes angry because you've got things to do, right? So I think that's that kind of feeling of frustration for me, or that's like, oh, really? Like, body, I am feeling really inconvenienced by this particular issue. It's annoying, it's frustrating. I've got things to do, my calendar is full. Please go away. And that's where sometimes we fall into that trap, right? Of just kind of reaching for something to make it be quiet, whatever that is. And sometimes that can even feel like, you know, reaching for something more holistic, but just kind of with that energy of like, oh, I just want this to go away. It's annoying. It's frustrating. Please go away. So what if instead of feeling that way, we could start to understand that those messages are those symptoms are really messages, that they are communication from our body. So one of my favorite sayings to tell people is, your body doesn't have words to talk to you. It can't just open its mouth and say, excuse me, you know, you didn't sleep well last night and you actually need to take a little nap this afternoon because you're completely exhausted. And if you don't take that nap, the rest of the day is not going to go well. Or you are completely dehydrated today, like, please drink some water. I'm needing something. And those are kind of the simpler symptoms, right? But in chronic illness, it can be kind of bigger symptoms that we have. All symptoms are just that. I think if we can see them in that way and we can start to detach from it meaning something, first of all, judging ourselves, oh, I have a symptom, like bad on me, I shouldn't have symptoms in my body. If we can just say, hey, this is actually a message. This is intelligent communication from my body. My body is sharing some wisdom and some information with us. That is definitely a key starting place. And then, good morning, Bruce. Thanks for hopping on. Then if we can get from that place of kind of detaching and seeing it as intelligent communication from our body, and we can get curious. So how many of you have ever asked that question of, what does this mean? What does this symptom really mean to me? Like, what is it trying to tell me? And this is one of the things that I love to teach people, because it's very powerful to start to learn and understand the messages as intelligent communication from the body. So when we can tap into that and when we can understand that message, then the body can actually give that message to us, and oftentimes the symptom can shift and go away. Because it's like, say, you checked your voicemail and you saw that message, okay, you received that information, and then in that case, you are actively probably deleting it, but your body will then let go of that symptom. But in the case of when we just try to make it go away as quickly as possible, or we reach for something over the counter, a Tylenol, a stomach medication, whatever it is for that symptom, we're kind of just suppressing it without getting the message. And this is kind of the other thing I always say to people, is then it becomes kind of like a game of whack-a-mole, right? You don't hear it in one place and it pops up someplace else, or it pops up in the same place again and again and again. Like, it'll maybe go away for that moment, but you haven't received the message. And so it will either come back in that same place, or it will come up somewhere else, because your body is just trying to get your attention. It doesn't have words. It only has these sensations. And so the more you can be curious about what do they mean, the more you're actually going to start to have a different relationship with your body, and the more you're actually going to start to get that message and receive that message from your body. So if anybody's ever played with this, I'm curious, let me know. If you ever asked that question, you can share in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. Let me know, do you ever get curious when you feel something after that maybe initial reaction of like frustration, irritation, sadness, whatever it is? Do you ever get curious and say, hey, what does this mean? Like, is there anything I can gather from this? And sometimes that's not always the easiest thing to do for ourselves, and that's why, having someone who can help you do that can often be beneficial, but it's a great place to start. It's a great place to start to dive in and tap into that wisdom. So Condi says, I have gotten the message, slow down, rest, stop doing too much. Yeah, those are great messages that your body can give to you through just that listening, that little check-in. And the more you do it too, the more it becomes kind of an easier thing to do. In the beginning, if you've never done it before, sometimes it can feel like a struggle. Sometimes it feels like you don't initially get that like pop through quick message, whatever it is. But the more you do it, the faster probably you will gain access to that information. So that is about all I have to say today on the topic of listening to our bodies and listening to the messages from our symptoms. I'm actually going to be doing a really cool workshop locally in Portland where we're going to dive a little bit into this theme of listening to the body's wisdom. And it's not just for people dealing with chronic illness. We're going to kind of generalize it so that if you have any kind of issues, any symptoms, any kind of wanting a better relationship with your body, we're going to dive into that. So that's going to be on Saturday, September 7th, and I'm going to be announcing all of the details soon. So I will make sure, if you're interested, let me know in the comments, and I'll make sure to send the info your way when it's up and available on my website. Hey, good morning, Lisa. So Condi says it is important to ask for help when you need it too. Totally. Even as a practitioner of this and doing this work, sometimes I can't get my own messages. So sometimes I ask colleagues, I ask other people, because sometimes it's hard. We can't always get our own messages and wisdom. And so knowing that there's always, what is that famous saying about knowing when to ask for help is also a key part of the equation. We're not meant to do this alone. And in the beginning, you may feel alone and overwhelmed. So that's why, you know, working with someone like me or coming to the workshop I'm going to have where we're going to dive into some tools and some skill set around this can be really helpful and empowering, because we're not meant to do it alone. So thank you to those who hopped on live. Condi, thanks for all the wonderful comments and shares. And if you're watching the replay and you want to share anything that your ahas are, or you think somebody else in your life could benefit, please feel free also to share this video with anyone who might need it. So have a great Tuesday. I think tomorrow I might be just sharing a recorded video, because I am going to be going to the beach with some girlfriends, and I will be back live on Thursday. So have a great day, and thanks for taking the time to watch. Bye for now.